In this video, you learned the basics of quartal harmony and the gems that await you when learning to harmonize guitar in this way. Quartal harmony is a way of building chords that gives you a very different sound to its counterpart tertian harmony, which, while that might be an unfamiliar term to you, is the typical way we voice and build chords on guitar. Hi, this is Simon Candy from acousticguitarlessonsonline.net, and quartal harmony can produce almost any emotion or mood you desire in your playing, and it can be used in any genre or style of music. Now, the good news is quartal harmony is actually quite simple to play. In fact, it's a lot easier than the chords you already know on guitar. In this lesson, I sit down with music theory specialist Tommaso Zillio to discuss and demonstrate the basics of quartal harmony, including how to build quartal chords on the guitar yourself, so you really understand how they're constructed. You'll also learn how to access the very few shapes that you need, not many, but there's a whole lot of sound on the fretboard. It's very simple sequences that you'll be able to memorize quite easily, and also how to create beautiful ambient music using quartal harmony via a variety of different ways and styles. You'll have quartal harmony up and going in your playing almost immediately. So let's get into it.
We want to talk about quartal harmony, the mysterious quartal harmony, okay? Which sounds really complex. It's like when I was writing an email promoting this live stream, and I was saying that the first time I've heard that, I'm like, I don't even want to learn it. Because I knew two things. First, the strange name, and I'm like, no, not putting it. And two, that it's used in jazz. And so at the time when I was learning, I was like, those are it's already two negative points for me. I'm not even touching it. And then one day, another music teacher of mine was playing something and played just a few chords, and I loved it. I'm like, what is that? Quartal harmony. Oh, interesting. Now I have to learn it. And it's not that hard, actually. So I'm going to leave you the stage, the virtual stage, to Simon. So Simon can show you an example or two, maybe, and then tell you what it's all about. I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
So it's very, very simple, but it sounds like there that perhaps that I knew a lot of chords. If I look at a chord that I was playing there, just one of these little chord shapes, this one here, for example, and I'm playing on strings 5, 4, and 3, and I'm starting from a D note, okay, on the 5th string, 5th fret. So the next note up in my chord is also at the 5th fret on the 4th string, and that's a G. And then the next note above that is a C sharp on string 3. So I'm just using a little 3-string chord here, 5, 4, 3. And what you might notice there is that the intervals there are a fourth apart. Traditional harmony, tertian harmony, is thirds, right? If we look at any chord, be it major, minor, extensions, diminished, they're all stacked thirds, minor, major and minor thirds. And that's traditional harmony, functional harmony. Here we've got a different scenario, because our intervals of the chord, the notes of the chord, are stacked in fourths, hence quartal harmony. So I'm thinking, if I'm thinking of an A7 chord, if there's an A7 chord, playing and I want to do some comping with some chords over the top using quartal harmony, I'm going to stay diatonic here. We don't necessarily have to be strictly diatonic, but let's stay diatonic here. So I could pick literally any note that's in the key, not in the chord, in the key of A mixolydian here, okay, over an A7 chord. So there's a D note, that'll do. So I've just got to stack fourths above to get my chord. So I've got a D, I've got my G, and the reason why I've got C sharp is because we're thinking A mixolydian here. If I wanted to, I mean, that's a little three string chord. I could add to that. I can make it a fourth string if I want by adding another fourth, which would be the F sharp, okay, at the 7th fret 2nd string. F sharp because, again, I'm staying diatonic to mixolydian there, and I get an extra voice in my chord. I could go again, if I want, I could go 5 strings and add the B above the F sharp, again, another fourth above. And if I play that over an A chord, it's going to give me some kind of, it's going to suggest an A7 chord of some sort. It's got the D, so we could call that the 11th. We've got the flat 7 there, we've got the 3rd, we've got the 6th, we've got the 9th. So we get all these nice extensions, depending where you stem the chord from. If I went down 1 fret from there, C sharp, that's in our key, so that's fine. Then I add a fourth above that, F sharp, I go a fourth above that again, B, so these are all in my 4th fret, and a fourth above B, staying true to our key, A mixolydian, is E. There's another little voice in that I could play on top of the A7 chord. And if we don't even need to analyze this. I mean, it's interesting to see, but you just need to know the shapes. And we'll talk about the shapes in a moment. But if we were to look at that, we've got a C sharp, that's the 3rd. We've got an F sharp, that's the 6th, the 9th. So you see the same sorts of notes again. And this time we've got a 5th in there. So we've got like a little vamp on top of an A7 chord. If I just play that A7 here, so there's our A, just looping the A7 here. You just want the lower part. Okay, if someone's soloing, you can get out of the way of them and just play the lower part and just comp around, and it gives, and that's just 2 shapes. We could extend that right up the fretboard. And the great thing about quartal harmony, why it's so simple, is because there are only so many shapes. It's like if I play a 3-string set on any group of 3 strings, I think I have 3 shapes. Yeah, 3 shapes. That's it. So right, I've got this shape that occurs, which is just a bar a number of times, and I've got 2 other shapes there, this one and this one here. So and that's the same for any 3-string set. If it's 4, if you put it across 4 strings, I think there might be 4 shapes, but still very, very simple. And so you don't really have to sit there and, I mean, you can initially sit there and work out your quartal harmony shapes, or you can just work from shapes already plotted out.
First example is that, as you see, quartal harmony works great in jazz. For me, though, I have a big passion about film music and TV series music, and for me, it's a specific sound. So, you know what sound it is? It's this sound here. Hear this chord. It's Star Trek, the original series, okay? They're descending on the planet. There is always Kirk, Spock, McCoy, and a red shirt, which is gonna die a few minutes later. Okay, and... Oops. And then they go on with these chords like that, okay? And it's this kind of 70s science, 60s, 70s science fiction, okay? It was before Star Trek. It's associated with that. And that's one of the sounds. And then again, you hear it. And people want to give this kind of suspended sound. They take one of the shapes and they just move it up and down regardless of the scale. Or you can just follow the scale. If you follow the scale, you get beautiful, beautiful chords and sounds. It's all, and then playing quartal chords made of 4 notes. So here's the thing, how those are built. Normal chords, triads, seventh chords, everything you see, it's built by stacking notes in thirds, which if you know what it means, it's easy. If you don't know what it means, stacking notes in thirds mean, it's like, whoosh. So here's the thing. If I want to build a C major chord, what do? I have the C major scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. I start from the C note. Then I take the note 1/3 above. C, D, E. And I have an E. So I have the C note and the E note. Then I go another third above the E. So E, F, G. And so I have the C note, the E note, and the G note. And if I play C, E, G, I have a C major chord. Then when I play it normally, I play C, E, G. I add another C, another E, because I can double those notes however I want all the time. And that's my C major chord. In quartal harmony, I do exactly the same, but rather than going up a third, I go up a fourth. So I start from C, I go up a fourth, C, D, E, F. So my next note is F. From the F, I go up another fourth, F, A, F, G, I don't even know my alphabet, F, G, A, B. So I have C, F, B. I could stay at 3 notes. It's a chord. I could add another note if I want. So after the B, I go up another fourth, B, C, D, E. And if I want, I can put another note. After E, I go up another fourth, E, F, G, A. Okay, that's the sound. Okay, and since it's built in fourths, since it's fourths and not thirds, it sounds completely different. But here's the thing, the shapes are usually simpler. There are less shapes in general, okay? And those shapes are usually simpler and repeated more often throughout the scale.
A couple of ways I like to use it. So I was perhaps first, learning a string set. So the top, 3 or 4 strings would be fine. If you want fewer shapes to deal with, even though it's not too many, overall, 3 string sets. 4 strings you could do. I would start, how I sort of started with it was on the top 4 strings, and I would stay diatonic to a key. You don't have to, just like in any music, you don't have to stay diatonic. But I'm going to stay diatonic here and build in, I'm going to think G major as the central key here. If I stack fourths from the E note through to my key of G, I get a little shape here, which is no more than the 2nd fret on the 3rd and 4th strings and the 3rd fret on the top 2. And then if I move that up 2 frets, that would be still staying to the key, so same shape, based off the F sharp. The G would have the fret between the 2 fingers, so pretty simple so far. Staying true to our key again, if I go up to A, same shape as we had for the first 2. If we go off the B, same shape again. So far 2 shapes, 4 of one and 1 of another. I mean, if you went no further, that's pretty simple to begin with. You've almost got 1 shape. If I took it just a touch further, I'm going to get, it's basically a 13 chord there, isn't it? More or less with a 9. But the shape here, based off of the C note, is a little bit different. Okay, little diagonal shape there. So is the one after it. And then we're back to where we started. So I always, it's like if you've learned, it's like anything, you learn the sequence. So if I was learning 6th, there's a sequence to 6th. You got 1 of these, then 2 of these, then 2, and then 2, and then 1. So it's the same with the quartal harmony. I know that either side of this shape, I've got the same shape. I know when I get this one, that one always follows. This is on the top 4 strings, and then I'm back to where I started. So it's a pretty simple sequence to learn. There's a chord progression in jazz, probably the most common, 2-5-1. And if we had a 2-5-1 chord progression in G, that'd be A minor, D dominant, G major 7. Now we could, you often hear jazz guitarists comping over the top of that. Comping meaning playing chords to complement the soloist, the instrumentalist or the vocalist or whatever, okay? We're complementing, comping, so it's just punching chords across the progression. And you hear a lot of chords in jazz, and we could be playing traditional harmony here and playing A minor 7s over the A minor 7, D7, G, etc. Or you could just literally improvise on this, on top of this track, and you'll be playing, depending on what chord's happening at the time, you'll be playing some kind of version of that chord. You don't have to know those. So if I just play this track, so you can hear that, it's the A, D to G major 7. So you've got the 2, 5, and the 1. So if I just play these shapes randomly almost, they all work really nice. I could go to other string sets to sort of, okay, that type of thing. So I'm not even really thinking of the chords. We could, but it's just like a scale. You're just playing over the top. It's all in key. If you were to stop at any point and look at what chordal shape you're playing and the chord at the time, you'll have some version of that chord with extensions, ninths, sixths, etc. A couple of chord tones in there. It's beautiful. If you have a chordal harmony shape, such as this one here, you could just change one note. So I could do this. So I've got movement in my chord, which is nice, and I've kind of got a kind of hybrid chord there, if you like, because I've got some fourths, but on top I've got a third there, F sharp to A, and I could do. Now sometimes you might get a note that's out of key, so you can kind of be careful with that or whatever. But then I might want a bit of a dissonant sound anyway. It's going from a quartal shape to a altered 7th chord and to a 7th. So you can just find a shape and move a finger. You start to sort of get an idea of which ones will work and which won't. So I do that a little bit and resolve. So, you can get sort of movement within the chord and get some, mixtures of chordal harmony and traditional harmony. If you like this video, then you will love this ebook audio I've created for you called Awesome Acoustic Rhythm Techniques that will transform the way you play your guitar. In this ebook, I take you through one of the most common chord progressions in music. What's not so common are the approaches we will apply to this progression. You learn how to use embellishments and extensions to decorate the progressions you play, much like a pianist would, resulting in very cool, unique, and sophisticated sounding music. You also learn great ways to play rhythm fills that can punctuate the space between your chord changes. This is much like the rhythm guitar playing of Jimi Hendrix. So click the link in the description below this video and download your free ebook audio, Awesome Acoustic Rhythm Techniques that will transform the way you play your guitar. Let me know in the comments section what acoustic guitar topics you'd like to see covered in future videos. I read all your comments and questions and I'll answer them, so don't be shy, drop me a line, let me know your thoughts. If you like this video, then hit that like button. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and hit the all-important notification bell button so YouTube can tell you when I've released a new video. This is Simon Candy from acousticguitarlessonsonline.net. Thank you very much for watching this video. I appreciate your time as always, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.